Are you there? I need to make one adjustment. Turn up the volume. How are you? Let me take my glasses off. Hello, Kelsey. Good morning to you. Let's move that back there a little bit. I was just, what time is it? Is it 10 o'clock? Is it time for our visit? That's wonderful. I was just reviewing the book we're going to be reading today. Cookies for Santa, and we know Santa likes cookies, don't we? Absolutely. 10 o'clock Saturday morning. Welcome to you. I've waited all week to be able to visit with you again. Thank you for being here. Did you invite any friends or family? Or tell anyone to join us here on Santa's Facebook page, broadcasting live around the world from the North Pole. Yes, it's good to see you. Have you noticed? I have a new item right here. It's Rudolph with baby Rudolph. Do you see him? I like the little ribbons they have, and they have red noses as well, just like Rudolph does, huh? So I got those to decorate my hat a little bit. Hope that's okay with you. I have one more that I can share with you in future visits. Yes. I got a new candle too. I don't know if you can see it or not. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Did your week go okay? Did you do anything special? I heard from several of you. Some of you have birthdays coming up, yes. And we'll get to the birthday wishes in a few minutes. You can go back onto my webpage here, Facebook page, and you can look at broadcasts that we've done in the past. If you're missing Santa, or you want to see something that wasn't quite clear, or you missed some of the items that Santa has shared with you, you can do that. Just go back onto my Facebook page and kind of scroll up and down, and you can see some of the items. Things like, what have we learned? We've learned the word navigation. We've learned about Santa's big stick, the scepter, that has Rudolph on it, that helps Santa navigate in case Rudolph gets a little bit lost in the fog or the rain or the snow, don't we? We learned about Santa's boots and his big golden belt. You learned that Santa uses suspenders to hold up his pants. Oh, one of you wants to see the belt again. Here we go. Let me see if I can you see that? There's Santa's belt. All nice and shiny. Yes. Santa doesn't go anywhere without his belt. Might have his pants fall down. We can't have that, can we? Oh, do you remember this? The magic key. Some of you said, how do you get into my house if I don't have a chimney, Santa? Santa has a magic key, yes. You saw Santa's house, where he lives. You learned that Santa has family and friends and elves up at the North Pole with me here. And do you remember this one wonderful elf? That's Tinsel. She's Santa's chief elf. She takes care of Santa very, very well. You learn that there's really a North Pole. Do you see that pole right there? That's the pole that is actually frozen all year round. Here's another picture of Santa's house, yes. Do you see the clock? It doesn't tell time with numbers, but it talks about how long until each month comes, yes. So we've learned a lot. So if you want to see more, go back and you can look at other appearances that we've had here, other visits. You can go back and look at those. The Mother's Day one that we did, all kinds. You remember Anja? Her Christmas wish. I remember Anja as being a very sweet and kind young lady, very helpful to others. We learned that she was selfless, not selfish. There's a big difference, huh? Selfless means giving to others and not worrying about what you need or what you want. Selfish is about me, me, me. Remember that? And Anja was selfless. And I remember that she woke up wondering if her visit with Santa was a dream, but do you remember? Santa left her a magic bell and said, if you need me, ring 3 times. Oh, what a wonderful Anja we had. Yes, yes, yes. We read Mr. Willoughby's Christmas tree and how his big giant Christmas tree, the tip-tops, helped make Christmas happy for the mouse and the rabbit and the fox and the bear. He was selfless in his way, huh? Helping other people. That was wonderful. Today, Cookies for Santa will be our book that we're reading. Last week we read Santa's Book of Names. Do you remember the little boy Edward had a hard time reading? And that we all can do things in different times. We don't do things all at the same time. We're not able to do math or reading or painting or something like that, just like the other people. We're all unique. And we're all different. And we're all special in our own way. Don't ever judge yourself compared to other people. No. Take care of yourself, and you'll be able to take care of others as well. Then we had lessons that we learned from Santa's Tales. Do you remember Santa's Tales? Yes, those were real-life people that Santa visited as he traveled around the world. Santa's Tales. The first ones, do you remember the story? We thought it was going to be a child, huh? But it wasn't, because all kinds of people love Santa, old and young. Elsie and Ernest, they were 99, and they came with their family to ask Santa for a photograph, and Santa was so pleased and happy that he could do that. But do you remember what was unique about them? Absolutely. They were here to take a photo with Santa. After having their very first picture taken with Santa when they were only 16 and on their first date. And several years later they got married, and now they're still married, and they came back to visit Santa for another photo. And then there was Becca. Do you remember what Becca said? She didn't want anything. She didn't want a toy or an instrument or a book, which kind of puzzled Santa. All Becca wanted for was peace in the world. And we sat there and we chatted while her parents took pictures. Do you remember she was getting to be that age where there was a change taking place about her thinking of Santa. And we talked about how she was going to become one of Santa's special helpers. And that she was going to be able to work to bring peace to her part of the world. And she was made one of Santa's special peace helpers. And I said, she writes to me and she tells me what she's doing to keep peace and to make peace and to get people to get along and to help them do things and learn things and create peace in her part of the world, in her neighborhood. And then we had Hector last week. Do you remember what Hector wanted? Selfless. He didn't want anything for himself. He wanted a Barbie house for his little 5-year-old sister. He came back last year to visit Santa and thanked me for that Barbie house. Yes, he did. Hector, very kind and gentle. Becca, very kind and gentle and giving. Elsie and Ernest, wonderful, selfless people, not selfish people. Those were the common traits, human traits, and those are the things that help get you on Santa's nice list. Well, we shared all kinds of things last week. Some of you said, do you have more pillows, Santa? I think I do. Let me see if I can find them here. Hold on. Oh my goodness, let's see here. Can you see that one? Santa's on his sleigh, flying through the sky. Santa likes pillows. Here's another one. Oh, here I am. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm checking my list. Indeed I am. I'm checking my list. Do you have pillows at your home? I bet you have pillows that you sleep on. Is that right? Do you have any pillows that have pictures on them like Santa's? And here he is, Santa. Here I am, pulling up to a house. Look, a very snowy house. Yes. I hope you like Santa's pillows. I have many, many more, but maybe seeing Santa's pillows is just terribly boring for you. I got 2 new pillows, but I didn't put the stuffing inside. I just got the covers. One of them is behind me, and the other is up on the wall over here and over here. Somebody wrote to me last week and said, Santa, can you show us more of the things that are on your wall behind you? And so maybe next week we'll do that. Would you like that? Yes, we will. Birthday wishes. Several of you wrote to Santa and said, Santa, I have a birthday coming up. And so I wrote down your names, and here are the birthday wishes. Michelle and Allison, happy birthday to you this week. Kristen wrote to me and she sent me some photos. She had been very, very busy. Yesterday, she cleaned the garage and she cleaned the house and vacuumed and dusted and tidied up. Her birthday's on Monday, in 2 days on Monday. And then Davis, happy birthday to you, and Lacey as well. Happy birthday coming up this week. And the last 2, Patty and Tommy. Happy birthday to all of you. And especially, Kristen, thank you for sending me those photos so I could see how hard you'd worked to prepare your home for your birthday party coming up. on Monday in 2 days. Yes. Would you like to hear what Santa's tale is this week? Remember, Santa's tale is true life story about someone Santa has met in his travels around the world. Elsie and Ernest was one of those. Hector was one. Today's story is about a little 7-year-old girl named Marie. Marie, I was traveling around the world and I came to a special event where Marie was there, and she kind of stood back from Santa for a while, kind of shy. She was there with her mommy. And sometimes mommies and daddies encourage their child to see Santa and to go visit with Santa. Sometimes children cry, especially if they're little children at maybe 2 years old. But Marie was 7 years old and she had to be encouraged. I kept waving to her and she'd kind of wave back. But eventually Marie came up to see Santa. And we held hands as she stood in front of Santa. And she wondered if I was real. And she tugged on my beard. And the mommy kind of stepped back just a little bit, because sometimes mommies and daddies like to have their child have some private time with Santa. You know, asking Santa for something that they might want. Do you think Marie asked Santa for a toy or a doll or something like that? No, she didn't. She stood in front of Santa and tears started to roll down her cheeks. Santa's not always ho, ho, ho. And so we found out that Marie had a heavy heart. Her parents had broken up. That means they weren't getting along. They were fighting all the time. And that made Marie very, very, very sad. She couldn't think of anything else. Sometimes children, when parents aren't getting along, think that it's their fault. But it's never your fault, children. Sometimes adults just don't seem to be able to get along very well. Maybe you've had a little fight or a disagreement with one of your friends and then you get all better. Or maybe you don't. And that's the way it was with Marie's parents. They weren't getting along. They broke up. Daddy moved out of the house. And that was just so upsetting to Marie. So she came to Santa. And she said, Santa, Mommy believes in you. I believe in you. Can you bring me one thing? And she asked Santa to bring her daddy back into her life and into her home. Poor Marie. Beautiful child, kind and loving, having her heart upset by parents who weren't getting along. And so a year passed by, and last year, just a few months ago, Marie showed up to visit Santa again. Yes, she did. And her mommy was with her as well. And we all held hands together. And Marie said, "Santa," and she gave Santa a hug. "I'd like," as she turned to the side, "to introduce you to my daddy. I don't know how you did it, but my daddy came back, and now we're another happy family. Thank you so much, Santa, for bringing my daddy back to our family." As the family began to leave, the mom walked away and Marie walked away, and I gave them candy canes. I stopped the father and I reminded the father that it's easy to become a father by having a child. What takes courage and bravery is to stay to be a daddy to your child. And I reminded him that Marie, he brought into the world, but his job was now to stay with that child the rest of her life and to take care of her and to be a real man, a real father to Marie. Such a sweet child. That is today's Santa tale, a happy ending to a story that started out so sadly. And at the end of our visit today, Santa will have a brief message, because tomorrow here at the North Pole and in many parts of the world, it's Father's Day. And so I'll have a special message about being fathers in the world. I'm glad you're with me. Would you like to hear this story? Cookies for Santa. It's a wonderful story. If you're on a computer sometime, I don't know if you can see the name. Can you see that name at the bottom? That name is Joanna Tarkala. Some people are good on computers. I'm not very good on computers, but you can draw on the computer as well. Yes, you can. I'm not very good at it. Anyhow, the illustrator for these photos, which they're beautiful, were done by that woman, Joanna Tarkala. And she does wonderful, wonderful artwork on the computer. Cookies for Santa. You know Santa loves cookies, don't you? You know that Santa's favorite cookie is whatever cookie you leave for Santa. But there's a family tradition here at the North Pole that Santa has, and that is to bake a special kind of a cookie. It's called a crinkle cookie. Have you ever seen it? I don't know if you can see. Let's see here. There's Santa as a cookie. It's a chocolate cookie, very chocolatey. And it's kind of crinkly on the top. And on the top, just like snow, there's powdered sugar. Yes, there is. This is a story about Santa at the North Pole and his tradition of baking cookies to give as gifts to his family and to all the elves so that they know that he cares. Do you see him there? And I want you to look really closely. Do you see those elves? They're taking something out of his house, aren't they? Well, here it was It was the day that Santa makes gifts to give to his Christmas family. And so he was beginning to do that. He went into, trying to turn the page here. He went in to get the recipe book, and he couldn't find it. Whatever am I going to do? He wondered. I don't know where it is. Where is the recipe book? It can't be Christmas until I make these cookies for all of my family and the elves. And so he was very, very worried. And far away in the big city of New York, a mother and Abigail, the little girl, and William were walking through the city to do some last-minute shopping for Christmas. And they asked if they could go to the library. Mother wasn't quite pleased about that, but they went to the library. And of course, William, being smaller and younger, went to the children's section. But Abigail headed right to where the big child books are. Do you see? And she's pulling a book off of the shelf there. Yes, she is. And she's looking at that book, and she sees that it's titled Santa's Book of Cookies. And they checked it out, and they took it home. And Abigail says, Mommy, can we bake some cookies? This is a recipe book, Mommy. Mommy said, well, okay, but I'm not sure we can do that because it has some very strange ingredients. It asks for essence from a Christmas tree. It asks for Elfie chocolate. I'm not sure we have that, Abigail. Back at the North Pole, Santa is worried. I'm going to have to cancel Christmas. Oh my goodness, that's not possible, is it? He looked and he looked and he looked. And he tried to remember the recipe from his memory. He tried the ingredients. He put some sugar in and some flour in. He put them into the oven. And then he took them out and he tasted them and he said, oh my goodness, these aren't right. They just don't taste the same. Mrs. Claus, do you see her in the background? Mrs. Claus said, come for your dinner, Santa. He was just so worried. He was just so terribly worried. Santa and Mrs. Claus every year, just before Christmas, they sit down and they broadcast to the world. Maybe like Santa does here to you every week now, huh? And so Abigail and her family sat in their living room waiting for Santa to broadcast their Christmas message. Do you see them right there? Mrs. Claus said, welcome, welcome children and grown-ups of the world. And she said how Christmas was going to be wonderful. But she noticed that Santa wasn't very happy at all. Do you see? Why was Santa not happy? Yes, he didn't have the recipe and he couldn't cook the cookies that he gave as gifts. And then all of a sudden, do you see? Abigail has the book. And she realizes when Santa says he might have to cancel Christmas because he can't bake the crinkle cookies, she realized that that booklet was Santa's. Now, in the first photo I showed you, you saw the elves taking something out of the house. And that was a box of items to be donated for charity. Abigail and her family, when they realized they had this special book and they had to bake cookies, rushed down to the neighborhood kitchen, America's Test Kitchen, and everyone there greeted them, and she explained the story. She did. And they said, we have to bake cookies for Santa. Children of the world, she said, can you please bake these special cookies? Here's the recipe. And so children of the world got very, very busy. Do you see that? Children from every country of the world got busy baking these special crinkle cookies. And Abigail and her family went to bed very, very tired, with their fingers crossed, hoping that everyone of the world would bake cookies for Santa. And they did. He left the last package at Abigail's home, and at that home, he got a present from Abigail, and he got that cookie, his favorite cookie, the crinkle cookie. And he was amazed, and he wondered what was going on, because he thought he was the only one making that cookie. He flew back to the North Pole, and he opened up his present. And yes, do you see it? It was his recipe booklet. And he realized that he now could make cookies for everyone he cared about. But he didn't have to that year, because at every house that he had stopped at, there was a special gift for Santa, a box. And with all of these homes that he visited around the world, Santa picked up just as many gifts as he had left. He got home and he opened up all of these gifts. Do you know what was in each of these gifts? Crinkle cookies. Christmas went on. All of the elves were happy. Santa Claus was very, very happy that all of these selfless children and families around the world made him cookies so that his elves and his family at the North Pole could enjoy those cookies. Santa put that book in a very special place. He also told Mrs. Claus where it was. And he reminded the elves, do not touch this recipe book. And Christmas went on. Everyone was happy. Maybe you want to make crinkle cookies. Would you like the recipe? If I have time this week, will on my Facebook page type out the recipe for you and put it on I Believe in Santa. Ho, ho, ho. Yes, I will. I discovered, though, that all those other families and children must have put that recipe on the World Wide Web, the internet. You've heard about it? So if you search on Google or any of those places, type in crinkle cookie, and the recipe will be there. It's a chocolate cookie with kind of a powdered sugar topping. Crinkle cookies. I love happy stories. Do you? Yes. And that was our story for the day. Cookies for Santa with wonderful, wonderful illustrations. Well, I think our time is now done for the week. Again, I'm so glad that you came to visit Santa. Farewell to you. But before we go, remember that as soon as we finish our visit, in about 1 minute after I finish, Santa will have a special Father's Day message for anyone who wants to hear it. If you're going to leave now, thank you for visiting Santa. Thank you for coming and spending a few minutes with me. Remember, you're each special and unique. Try to continue to be kind-hearted and loving and selfless in giving to other people. Make sure to treat yourself too and be kind to yourself, because you are very unique and special. And you're wonderful, and Santa loves you. Blessings to you. Say hi to your family and your friends. Farewell for now. I'll see you next Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning, Pacific time, North Pole time. And maybe we'll have more pillows, or maybe I'll show you some items that are over here on the back a wall here in my Santa studio. I'll answer any questions that you have. And maybe some of you will write to Santa about your birthday. Again, happy birthday to all those children. Kristen, hello to you, Kristen. And Michelle and Allison and Davis and Lacey and Patty and Tommy. Happy birthdays to you this coming week. Enjoy your time together. And that concludes our visit. And now, just like a few weeks ago, was it? A month ago, I think. It was Mother's Day. Do you remember Mother's Day? Yes. Mothers, Santa said, were the most special people in the world. So special, in fact, that Santa has made them his special helpers. Do you remember? We talked about how mothers will do two things their entire lives. Do you remember? They will, number one, love you no matter what. They will love you when you're a little baby and when you're a grown-up. Do you remember the little story Santa told about how the little boy was not a very good boy, but his mother loved him no matter what? Until the mother became very, very old, and the boy grew into a man, and the man would come over and rock her on his knee and take care of her just like she had taken care of him. The second thing they will do, besides love you? They will always worry about you. Yes, they will. They worry about you all the time. When you go out, when you play, what you eat, how you dress. They worry about friends. Do you have friends? Do you not have friends? They worry about if you're doing your chores. They worry. And they will worry even when you get older. No matter what, they will worry about you. Mothers and fathers, they're alike in ways, aren't they? Mothers are special in a certain way. Fathers are special in some of the same ways. A good father, he will worry about you just like mother will. He will also love you no matter what, forever and ever, to the moon and back, just like mommy. Sometimes there's a mother and a father together in a home, and they work together as a team to raise a child properly. Sometimes, like Marie, they fight and they can't get along and they split up. Sometimes they never come back together, and that is so terribly sad. Sometimes they do get back together. Sometimes the man makes a baby with the mother and then leaves. That's a very terrible thing to do. What takes courage is to stay and be a proper daddy. So just like mothers, daddies will love you. They will take care of you. They will go to your ball games. They will play with you. They will help feed you and keep you safe. They will protect you no matter what. And oh my goodness, when you get to be the age if you start to date, daddies are especially protective because they want their children, especially their daughters, to find a special boy or man to treat them with respect. And that's what good daddies do. They help you with your schoolwork. They help you with ribbons for your hair and items for your hair. They cuddle you. They clothe you. They do all those things that mothers do. Maybe they go to plays or performances at your school. They might teach you things about a car when you get to be the age where you might be able to drive. But there's two words I want to share with you. Most children, they like presents, don't they? They like books and toys and instruments and all kinds of different presents. But there's a different kind of presents. Yes. Presence also means to be here, to be there, to be a daddy. On Father's Day and for all eternity, to be a daddy, to be a father, to be present, to be there for the ball games, and to be there to keep your child safe, to be there, to be present, to take care of them and nurture them as a good father should. So while we think of presents, toys and gifts and so forth, for fathers, if you're listening, the most important kind of presents are the ones that you step up and you are there for your child or children, being there to love them, protect them, keep them safe, teach them things, and to let them know how you take care of a mother as well. As a team. Yes. Presents, they get old and they break. But a daddy being present for his children will last for an entire lifetime of the children. That is a present that is more valuable than anything, daddies. Fathers, be present in the lives of your children. Have an enjoyable Father's Day tomorrow. It might be a little bit different, might it not? Yes, we still have this bad coronavirus traveling around the world, and so it might be a little bit different. We may not be able to hug and cuddle with our children, but I'm sure, children, you will find a way to make your daddy feel loved. Santa has children, as you know, and the best thing I can get from my children is a simple message, a special card maybe that they've made, or a words they've written, or a wave to Santa, or I love you. Enjoy your Father's Day. Blessings to you. Farewell.